Right, so this video will be discussing May-June 2020 paper 1-1 for pure mathematics 1. So let's have a look for first question. All right, so we are given the sum of the first 9 terms of an arithmetic progression, right? So we are having the keyword arithmetic progression, and then we are having the sum of the first 9 terms is 117, right? So if you try to write out this information here, it should be something like this. It is the arithmetic progression, right? So it should be S9 equals to 117. So I try to write out the first information given first. S9 equals to 117. And then what else is given in this question? They are saying also that the sum of the next 4 terms is 91. Right. They are still talking about the sum. And then the keyword here is the next 4 terms is 91. If let's say just now we're having the first 9 terms here, and then add another 4 terms after the 9 terms. So total there will be 13 terms, right? 9 plus 4 is 13. So the sum of the first 13 terms will be 117. The first 9 term plus the next 4 term 91. So this is the second information that we get. Alright, so I'm having S13 equals to 117 plus 91. So just to let you know that the 117 is basically the first 9 term, and then the 91 is the next 4 terms. Right. Okay. We are given these 2 information here, and then they want us to find the first term and also the common difference of the progression. Okay, when we are having an arithmetic progression, just to recall a little bit more, arithmetic progression, right, there are a few important formula here. If let's say they are talking about the n term of arithmetic progression, so the general formula will be a plus n minus 1d. And then in this question, we are given the sum of the first n term. The general formula for sum of the first n term will be n over 2 divided n over 2 multiplied by 2a plus n minus 1d. And then for this question, since we are given mainly the sum of the first n term, right, we are going to use this formula mainly, right? Okay, so let's have a look for our question here. We are given S9. S9 equals to 117, and I want to substitute the formula of S9 into our calculation here. The sum of first 9 term is n is the n is a 9, then divided by 2, 2a. I don't know what is the value of a, so I just keep it as a first, plus n minus 1d. So n minus 1, you'll get an 8. D, common difference, I also don't know what is it yet, so I just keep it as a d, then equals to 117. Right? And I try to simplify everything. I'll be having 9a plus 36d equals to 117. And then I will keep a on the left hand side as 13 minus 40. And this is my first equation. To get a value for a and d, I need the second equation, and I need to solve them simultaneously. So that's the reason why in this question they give us the second information here. Right. So I'm having S13 equals to 117 plus 91. So what do I have from here? So again, I will substitute in the formula for S13. So n divided by 2, 2a plus n minus 1, which is 13 minus 1 is a 12, then d. Equals to 117 plus 91, you will get 208. Alright, then again, I will prefer to simplify my equation here. Alright, so I will be having 13. I bring the 2 inside, the half inside, so I'll be having a plus 60 equals to 208. Right, then let's have a look and see how can we get the second information here. I bring the 13 over, I'll be having a equals to 16 minus 60. And this will be my second equation. And from here, I want to solve the equation simultaneously. So I'll let 1 equals to 2. And then I try to solve that. So 13 minus 4d equals to 16 minus 60. So my d here will be equals to 3. And the result that I get from the d is equals to 3 over 2. Right, then for this question, they're asking for common difference D. This is the common difference, the value of D. And of course, they also want us to get the value for A. So don't forget about A. To get the A, you can substitute it into any of the equation just now. Okay, by right, the value of A that you get should be equals to 7. Yeah, so this is how we solve question number 1. Question number 2, we are given the coefficient, the 1 over x in this particular expansion is 74. Find the value of the positive constant k. So highlight the keyword positive. Right. For this question, it is about the binomial expansion. All right, so let's have a look for the general formula for binomial expansion first. If I'm having a plus b power n, the general term, any term in this expansion, it will be NCR, a power n minus r, then b power r. This is the general formula for what we have. All right, and now we are having two brackets here, two binomial expansion here. One is kx plus 1 over x power 5. Another one is 1 minus 2x power 8. And then for this both expansion here, I'm interested for the term of 1 over x. Right. Okay, so let's start with some searching first, yeah. For the first bracket, I'm having kx plus 1 over x power 5. Therefore, the general term for this question is, for this part is 5c something, then kx power 5 minus something, and then 1 over x power something. All right, and then I need to try and error to find out. Okay, I need the try and error to find out basically the power that can give me 1 over x. All right, so for this one, for searching the coefficient of 1 over x, there are many ways. For me, I'm always using the try and error method, where I know that the bracket, the power here, the total power for these two brackets should be equals to the 5. So I need to try and error to search for the power 1 over x. Okay, and then for this question, for this particular bracket, I know that it is quite straightforward because I want to have 1 over x. This power must be 1 power or degree higher than this one, right? So from here, I can see that if I put it as a 3 and a 2, I'll get x power 3 here. I'll get 1 over x squared here. X power 3 multiply with 1 over x squared. Wrong, because I want to get 1 over x, right? Sorry. So that means this power must be 1 degree higher than this one. Oh, so I made an error. So if I try an error by using 3 and 2, then when I summarize them or when I simplify them, I'll get the power x power 1, which is not something that I want because I want 1 over x. All right, so that means by try and error, oh, this is not the correct power that I should put. Then what should I do here is maybe I try the other power where maybe I can try out this 2 and this is a 3 because 2 plus 3 is still power 5, right? Okay, when you try to simplify this one, you're having x squared. When you're having this one, you will be having 1 over x power 3. So x squared multiply with 1 over x power 3 and eventually you are getting 1 over x here. All right. Yeah, so that means when you're trying like this, that means your power is correct. So what you do is that you have to put this as a power 3 here. Then let me shift a bit. All right, then after that, what should I do here is you can try to simplify it first. So for this particular term, if I try to expand it, what do I have here is 10. 5c3 is a 10. Then you're having k squared x squared. Don't forget that the power 2 here must belongs to both terms. Okay, in your bracket, and after that the 3 also you put it inside. Then by right you should be having 1 over x power 3. And if you try to simplify all this together, you'll be having 10 k squared multiply with 1 over x. Okay, then for your information, this is basically the coefficient of the 1 over x in this case. Wait me for a while. This one, okay. So basically, this is the coefficient of 1 over x for first bracket here. And now let us proceed to the second bracket. For the second bracket, I'm having 1 minus 2 over x, then power 8. All right, so let me write out the general formula first. I'm having 8c something, 1 power something, then negative 2 over x power something. And again, I want to have a power 1 over, sorry, I want to have 1 over x term in my expansion here. By try and error, from here I can see that I should put this as a power 1, and this one should be power 7, where power 7 plus 1 equals to the 8. And then when you multiply these two terms together, right, you'll be getting 1 over x also. Right, so that means by trial and error, you decide the power first, then after that, only you expand it. All right, only you simplify. 8c1 will give you the value of 8. 1 power 7 is a 1. Negative 2 over x power 1 will give you negative 2 over x. And if you try to simplify all this here, you'll be having negative 16 multiplied with 1 over x. Right, so we are having negative 16 is the coefficient for 1 over x in this particular binomial expansion. And then for this question, they are actually add these two brackets together. They are adding, okay, the two binomial expansion together. So that means when we are looking for the coefficient of these two terms, right, we are also adding them together, right? Okay, then what do I have here is you should be having 10k squared 1 over x plus negative 16 1 over x. It is equals to 74 1 over x, because when they said if I combine these two brackets together, the coefficient of 1 over x is 74. So that means you're having 74 1 over x. Okay, then now we just try to compare only the coefficient part. All right, so if I want to compare only the coefficient part, what do I have here? I will be having 10k squared minus 16, that equals to 74. So this is what I want to compare. So I'm having 10k squared minus 16 equals to 74. And you try to simplify it. By right, you'll be having k squared equals to 9 and k equals to plus minus 3. And then please try to read the question one more time. They are asking for the positive constant for the k. Therefore, my final answer should be a positive value where k is equals to 3. Alright, yeah, so this is how we solve question number 2. Question number 3. Each year, the selling price of a diamond necklace increases by 5% of the price the year before. So the selling price of the necklace in the year 2000 was $36,000. So write down an expression for the selling price of the necklace n years later, and hence find the selling price in year 2008. Okay, so for this question, you can see that we are having an increasing series or maybe the increasing progression, all right? And then the increasing progression, right, the rate is basically increased by 5%. So 5% means is on ratio. On ratio means that you are having a geometric progression. If let's say they are having a fixed value of increasing, let's say increase by $500 every year, it's a fixed value, right? Therefore, the fixed amount. So therefore, that kind of progression would belongs to arithmetic progression. So this one increased by percentage one, we are having a certain ratio, right? So that means this belongs to geometric progression. Okay, so let us recall back some useful formula for geometric progression. When they are talking about the n term for in a geometric progression, the general formula will be a power r, ar power n minus 1, where a is the first term, r is the common ratio, n is the n term that we are looking for. If they are asking for sum of the first n term, then basically it will be a multiplied with r power n minus 1 divided by r minus 1. Or the other way around, where a multiplied with 1 minus r power n, then bottom also 1 minus r. Okay, so these formula are provided in the formula booklet. Just in case that you can't remember, you can always refer back to do the formula booklet, all right? Okay, then let us have a look for the question again. All right, because for this question, they are talking about the year and also the number of the term. Usually for me, if I don't want to make it confusing, right, I will always try to list out clearly what do I have, okay? So I will try to list out here first. Yeah, this is the year. Okay, then this is the amount that I have. Okay, for the starting price, the selling price of the necklace in the year 2000 was $36. So that means on the year 2000 will be my first term, and then the A will be 36,000. All right. Then for the next year is increased by 5% for the price of the next previous year. So that means you're having 36,000 multiplied with 1.05. It is because of you are having 100% plus the 5%. So total of this will be 105% for the next year. The total amount that you have, the amount that you have for the next year will be the original 36% add another 5%. So total there should be 105%, which is 1.05 in ratio, right? So this is actually for the year 2001. Okay, then how about for 2002? For the year 2002, you'll be having 36,000, then multiply with 1.05 power 2. All right, because it is another 105% from the previous amount. Okay, right. And then from here, I will want you to have a look where you should know A is actually equals to 36,000 and our common ratio R is equals to 1.05. How to get the R? You are taking the later year divided by the previous year. Later year divided by the previous year. So you are getting the R equals to 1.05. And let us have a look into a more detail into the question. They are asking for n years later. Okay, the formula for n years later. And for n years later, what is the general term or the symbol for the term? Right. Okay, let's have a look again. For year 2000, it is the starting year, right? For year 2001, we will call it as 1 year later. And this 1 year later is what? The 1 year later means T2. Then this is T1. First term is T1 or the A. Okay? Then 1 year later means T2. 2 years later means what? 2 years later means T3. Correct? Because this is the third term already, right? And how about if let's say they're asking for n years later? So you can see that 2 years later is T3. All right. Then 1 year later is T2. 3 years later will be T4. Then how about for n years later? All right, so you should aware that for n years later, the symbol will be T n plus 1. Because 1 become 2, right? So that means you take 1 plus 1, you get a 2. The T2 here, right? So 2 years later means 2 plus 1, you get a 3. So n years later means you have to take for the term of n plus 1. Okay? Then what's the general formula for the n plus 1 here? N plus 1 term. So A R power n plus 1 minus 1. Okay, and eventually if you try to simplify it, your general formula for Tn plus 1 is n AR power n. Then after that, they're asking find the selling price in year 2008. Okay, then to find the selling price in year 2008, what is the term? So again, you can see that year 2002 is T3, year 2001 is T2, year 2008 will be T1, year 2008 will be T9, right? Because 2 become T3 ma, year 2002 become T3, year 2003 become T4, year 2005 become T6, therefore year 2008 will become T9, right? So what's the general formula for the T9 here? It will be A. Okay, then R. If this is your n, then your power R should be n minus 1, which is power 8. Okay, 8 years later. Alright, and what do I have here? If you try to press for calculator, you are getting a long answer. And of course, we would like to cut it short into three significant figures, where it should be 53200, correct, to three significant figures. Okay, all right, so this question, I think the confusing part will be the sentence that they are using and also the symbol that we are using here. So there might be some students who feel confusing, like, why is it n plus 1 term but not the n term? All right, because for n years later, if you try to write out all the description in the question, the n years later symbol the correct symbol should be t n plus 1, but not the tn. All right, then where for the year 2008, basically it means 8 years later. So the symbol should be T9, not the T8. All right, so I want you to take a little bit of, take note on this part. I think this is the part that some of the students might feel confusing for the sentence that they are using here. Right, okay, this is what you have for part A. Then let's continue to part B. Now they say the company makes necklace only sells one each year. Find the total amount. Highlight the keyword of total amount. Basically, they are asking you to find the sum. Total amount of money obtained in the 10 years period starting in the year 2000. In the 10-year period. All right, so from year 2000 is the first term, right? Then year 2001 is the second term. They're asking for 10-year period. That means they're asking for SN, S10. So again, what is the general formula for S10 in the geometric progression again? So I try to write out again here. Sn should be A r power n minus 1 divided by r minus 1. Okay, so like what I told you just now, you can also write it like this. 1 minus r power n divided by 1 minus r. Basically, both of them will give you the same answer. All right. Okay, so what am I doing here is I'm taking the A. A is 36,000. What is my R? R is 1.05 power n. N is a 10 in this case, because your S10, right? Then minus 1 divided by 1. R is 1.05 minus 1 again. Simplify this answer again, you'll be getting a long answer here. Then let us cut it short into three significant figures. Your final answer should be 453,000. All right, so this is how we solve. Question number 4. We are given a diagram, and then they tell us that the diagram shows the graph of y equals to fx, where fx is equals to this trigo function, okay, for x between 0 to pi. So the domain is from 0 to pi here. Okay, they want you to state the range of f. All right, so to state the range of f, right, if you have a look for the value here, basically they didn't tell you, how to say, what's the value, maximum and minimum point. To get the range, you need to know what's the maximum point. Maximum point will be this one, or this one, okay? The value of the y at maximum. Then the minimum point will be here. Okay, so to solve for this question, there are many ways for you to solve it. The first method is, since you know that the maximum point appear at x equals to 0, so what you can do is that you substitute 0 into your function first. All right, so if you substitute 0 into your function, you'll be having 3 over 2, then cos 2x, that means cos 0, then plus half. Then by right, when you press the calculator, right, you should be getting the value of 2. Because cos 0 will give you a 1, so 3 over 2 plus 1 over 2 will give the value of a 2. Okay, then how about to get the minimum value? To get the minimum value, this trigo graph, right, cos 2x, it is a symmetrical graph. Therefore, from 0 until pi, the minimum will appear in the center. This minimum will be in the center, which is pi over 2. So if you want, you can try to substitute pi over 2 into your calculation, into your function. So let's have a look what's the value that we get from here. So if you substitute pi over 2 into your cos, what's the value that you get? So cos 90 degree, right? So cos 90 degree times 3 over 2 plus 1 over 2. So you're having 0.5. Okay, so 0.5, which is basically the half. Oh, sorry, I think I made a careless mistake because they are asking for cos 2x, cos 2x. Therefore, cos 2x means that cos 2 times of pi over 2. Sorry for that. Yeah. That's why I feel like why the graph show us negative value but I get a positive value. So because I make a careless mistake here. Right. Okay, then let's continue further. So 2 times of pi over 2 means that you're having cos pi. What's the value for cos pi? Cos pi will give you the value of negative 1. So negative 1 multiply with 3 over 2, you get negative 3 over 2. Negative 3 over 2 plus half, you are having a negative 1. So this smallest value is a negative 1 and this highest value is a 2, according to your calculation just now. Then let us try to write it out as a range form. The range of the function f will be from negative 1 inclusive until 2. Alright, so of course, if you want to put it as function fx also can. This is basically how we find out the range. Alright, or some students, they prefer to apply the transformation of graph starting from cos 2x first, then slowly modify your graph, shift your graph, transform your graph, then only you get a final answer for the graph also can. Alright, so there are more than one way to get the answer for this part, right? Okay, this is what we have for part A. And let's have a look for part B. Now they are saying that there's a function g such that gx equals to fx plus k, where k is a positive constant. The x-axis is the tangent to the curve at y equals to gx. Alright, so now here they say k is a positive constant. So let's have a look for the k here. When you're having x plus k, that means now the plus k is outside the basic function. Therefore, this kind of transformation will be translation. Translation. And then they are saying that k is a positive constant. Positive constant in the translation means that it is going to move up for a certain type of units. For k unit, let's say k is 2, then move up 2 units. If let's say k is 5, then that means you are moving up 5 units. So positive means that it is the graph is moving upwards. Right. The x-axis is a tangent to the curve at y equals to gx. That means they are saying that when I try to sketch the diagram of gx, now the x-axis become the tangent of the gx. So from here, you can try to imagine if I want to shift this original curve go up, and then eventually the x-axis will become the tangent of the curve. So what can you expect is your minimum point will move up to touch the x-axis, so that this x-axis now basically is the tangent to the curve. So from here, this is gx, and then this is the fx. And if your gx is having the minimum point where the tangent is the x-axis, right? So from here to up, go up, how many units are you going to move from fx to gx? So original lowest point is negative 1, right? The lowest value for is negative 1 for the graph of fx. When you want to move up, this minimum point, negative 1 will move up to y equals to 0. That means you are moving up 1 unit from fx to gx. So you can just write out here, the value of k is equals to positive 1. Alright, then they want you to describe fully also the transformation that maps the curve. So how should we describe it? Basically, it is a translation. Okay, so you're having translation with the vector of 0, 1. This is what we have for part B, and let's have a look for part C. Okay, so for part C, what are they saying about here? So they are talking about this. State the equation of the curve, which is the reflection of y equals to fx in the x-axis. So y equals to fx in the x-axis means that it is the up-down reflection, where the x-axis is the mirror. When you are having the up-down reflection, basically you are multiplying a negative outside the basic function. Okay, so if let's say I'm having y equals to fx, and if I want to have the up-down reflection, yeah, it will become y equals to negative fx. So negative x means what? You are having a negative with the original function of fx, which is 3 over 2 cos 2x, then plus half. And then multiply the negative in, you are having negative 3 over 2 cos 2x minus the half. Okay? Yeah, so this is basically the equation that we have if we are applying a reflection of the graph in the x-axis. Alright, so this is how we answer question. Alright, so now we are at question number 5. We are given the equation of a line y equals to mx plus c. M and c are constant, and also there's the equation of the curve, which is xy equals to 16. Given the line is a tangent to the curve, line is a tangent to the curve, express m in terms of c. Alright, so for this question, basically we're having a linear line, right? Y equals to mx plus c is a linear line. So when you're having a linear line, and they are saying that it is a tangent to the curve, means that this line is a tangent to the curve. That means the line touched the tangent at one point. Alright, and if you are having have a look for this question, right? Basically, it is related to our quadratic equation as well, where if you are having a quadratic equation and you have only having equal root, so that means the quadratic equation is having one root. So that means the quadratic equation is intersecting the x-axis, which is also the linear line, at one point. Then we are using the discriminant concept of b squared minus 4ac equals to 0. So for this question, the idea is the same as what we have here. Alright, when you're having the equal roots in the quadratic equation, that means that your quadratic curve is having only one intersection point with the x-axis, which is also a linear line. So we are using this concept. So we are applying the same thing using the same formula as well. Alright, but before you can apply the b squared minus 4ac equals to 0, I need to get a quadratic form equation between the curve and also the line first. So assume that you are trying to solve for the intersection point. How are you going to solve for the intersection point between the curve and the line? You need to solve them simultaneously, right? So I'm having the line equation and I'm having this curve equation. So to get the intersection point, I need to substitute 1 into the equation number 2. What do I get from here? I will be having x, then mx plus c equals to 16. From here, I'll be having mx squared plus cx minus 16 equals to 0. And this is basically our quadratic form equation, where your a is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of the x, and c is the constant term in the quadratic equation that you get. And we are using the formula, the discriminant formula, b squared minus 4ac equals to 0. So let's substitute all the information that we have here. In this case, our b squared is the c, so c squared minus 4a is m, c is negative 16 and equals to 0. Let's have a look for this question. They said express m in terms of c. Okay, so I'm having c squared plus 64m equals to 0. Then I try to rephrase it. My m should be equals to negative c squared over 64. So this is what we get for m in terms of c. So m equals to negative c squared over 64. Alright, so this is the part A that we have for this question. Then let's continue to part B. For part B, now they are saying that given instead that m is a value of negative 4, find the set values of c for which the line intersect the curve. Line intersect the curve at two distinct points. Okay, so same thing happened here. Now they are saying that this curve is intersecting the line at two different points. Two distinct points means two different points. We are using the concept like what we learned earlier, when I'm having a quadratic equation, and if I have two roots, that means it intersects with the x-axis at 2 points. Then when you try to apply this concept, we are using b squared minus 4ac will be greater than 0. Alright, so I want to apply the same thing here. Then let us start again. My original equation is y equals to mx plus c, right? But now they say m is -4, so I'm having y equals to -4x plus c. First equation. Then my curve equation remain the same, xy equals to 16. Okay, then again, substitute equation number 1 into the equation number 2. And what do I get here? I will be having this. Okay, so this is what I have. And since I told you just now, right, I want to use the discriminant concept, b squared minus 4ac greater than 0 when they're having two intersection point or intersection at two distinct points. Okay, then again, now what is my a? A is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, then c is the constant term. And I'm using b squared minus 4ac greater than 0. What do I get from that? So I'll be having negative c squared minus 4ac greater than 0. Okay, if you try to simplify this part, you'll be having c squared minus 256 greater than 0. Then you factorize it, becomes c minus 16, c plus 16. All right, then you can try to draw number line if you want. So I'm having negative 16, positive 16, then try to draw number line. Or you can use the table of sign to find the answer for this part also can. Plus, 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 minus, minus, minus. So overall this is positive, negative, positive. We are looking for the equation greater than 0, means that we are looking for the positive value here. This one and also this part. Then we try to list out our answer. So what's the answer here? Therefore, the answer for the C should be C smaller than negative 16 and also C greater than 16. Yeah, so if you don't familiar with this number line method, then of course you can use the table of sign, or there are some students who try to find out the critical value first, where they try to get the 16 and negative 16 first. After that, only you substitute the value part by part to see what is the correct answer. Also can. So there are more than one way for you to solve it for this one. All right, but the final answer should be the same, no matter what method are you using. This is the correct final answer, right? Yeah, so this is how we solve. Question number 6, we are given the function f and also the g are defined in such way, all right? Then a and b are constant. We are given the composite function g2 equals to 10, f inverse 2 equals to 14. Find the values of a and also the b. All right, so this question mainly talking about the composite function. All right, so let's start from the information given by the question first. We are having gg2 equals to 10. That means for the first part, I want to substitute 2 into my function g. If I substitute the 2 into my first function g, I'm having 3 times 2 plus b, right? Equals to 10. Right, then 3 times 2 is a 6, right? So 6 plus b equals to 10. And now you need to substitute 6 plus b inside the g, x again, the x inside the g again, right? Then you are having equals to 10. So 3, the x now I want to put it as 6 plus b. Because here, if this is the x, then this is x, right? Then now I'm having g 6 plus b. Therefore, the 3 here, the x, you have to put it as 6 plus b as well. So 3, 6 plus b, then plus b equals to 10. What do I get from here? Okay, so simplify this equation by right, you will be having b equals to 8. See negative 8, 18 move it over negative, so should be having negative 8 divided by 4, sorry. So negative 8 divided by 4, and you should be getting negative 2 after you simplify the equation. Okay, then after that, let's have a look for the value of A. They are asking for F inverse 2. Alright, so there are also more than one way for you to solve this question. Some students, they prefer to find out the inverse function for fx first. Then after that, only they solve for this equation. But for me, what I want to do is that I want to take the f inverse over. If I want to take the f inverse over, that means I'm having f14 equals to 2. To me, I think this one is more convenient. Alright, so there are two ways. Either you find out the inverse function first, then you substitute the 2 inside your inverse function. Okay, if not, then you are doing it like this. I'm trying to move the f inverse over, it will become the function f14. What do I have for f14 here? If fx, you're having half x minus a. So f14 means that you substitute the x become 14. And you're having half, then 14 minus a equals to 2. And from here, you simplify slowly. By right, the a that you get should be equals to 5. Right, so this is how we get the value for a and also the b. Okay, then let's continue to the next part. Using this value of a and b, find an expression of g(f(x) in the form of cx plus d, where c and d are constant. Alright, so let's rewrite again our answer here. What is your function fx? Your function fx is half x minus a is minus 5. Okay, let's have a look again. Half x minus a, so half x minus 5. What's the function gx? 3x plus negative 2. Okay, so 3x minus 2, right? Okay, then I rewrite again. Gx is 3x minus 2. I want to find the composite function for gfx. What is the function fx again? You are having half x minus 5. Now you are putting half x minus 5 into your g. So if your gx, then you're having 3x minus 2. If you're having g, half x minus 5, that means the x here, you have to replace the x here by using the half x minus 5. So you're having 3, then half x minus 5, okay, then minus 2. Alright, then simplify it. When you try to simplify further, you should be having this 3 over 2x minus 17. Right. And this is how we get the composite function for g. Alright, so let's have a look for 7a, 7 question, part A. Prove this identity. Alright, if I have a look for the identity here, left-hand side I'm having two terms, something plus something. Then right-hand side I only have one term. In my opinion, I think starting from left-hand side easier because it will be easier for me to combine two terms become one, right? Then I'm having these two fractions here, 1 plus sine theta divided by cos theta, then plus cos theta over 1 plus sine. Okay, then if I want to make it become one term, like on the right, I have to combine these two terms together. When you want to combine these two terms together, you have to make sure that the denominator are the same. So that means you have to multiply the denominator with the denominator and cross multiply what you have on top, right? So you're having 1 plus sine theta multiply with this one, 1 plus sine theta, you're having 1 plus sine theta squared. Then cos theta on top, you multiply with the cos theta here, you'll be having cos square theta. So you can see that two terms become one. Alright, then after that, what should I do is I try to, if you have a look for the term on top of the denominator, of the fraction, the 2 is very simple, right? It's only a number. But if you have a look for our numerator here, it looks like a bit more complicated. So to maybe make it simple, I might need to expand the term on top and see how can we further simplify it. Expand this one, you will be having 1 plus 2 sine theta plus sine theta squared then plus cos square theta divided by cos theta, then 1 plus sine theta. Okay, so it looks still complicated, right? Okay, then how can we simplify it further? All right, so you should know that we did learn about one identity before, cos square plus sine square. What do I have here? I should be having it equals to 1. Okay, so this whole thing equals to 1. 1 plus 1, you'll get a 2. Okay, then 2 plus 2 sine theta, you can take it out, factorize out the 2, and it will become 1 plus sine theta divided by cos theta and 1 plus sine theta. And I hope that you see clearly that this two bracket can be simplified. Eventually, what do you have here? You will get the term on the right hand side where it is 2 over cos. And this is how we prove it. Right, then let's continue to part B. So for part B, okay, they want us to solve this equation equals to 3 sine theta for theta between 0 to 2 pi. Okay, then now, usually for our question here, part A, if they ask you to prove something, then usually you have to apply the result in part B. Same thing happen here. If you have a look for the left-hand side of this equation, it is basically what we have in the part A. Then I will directly substitute what I proved in part A just now. Right-hand side, I get 2 over cos theta, right? I straight away substitute the result into our equation here, equals to 3 over sine theta. Then from here, for the sine value here, sine theta, I move it up. The 2, I move it down. So from here, I will be having sine over cos equals to 3 over 2. Sine over cos, I'll get tangent. So tangent equals to 3 over 2. Okay, and to find out the answer for theta, I need to go through the quadrant for the answer. Since they are interested for the theta between 0 to 2 pi, that means they are in one cycle. So I mean from 0 to 360 degrees or 0 to 2 pi. So I try to draw out all the quadrant first. All sine, tangent, cos, right? Okay, to get the answer in the first quadrant, the answer is the basic angle, or I put it as theta. In the second quadrant, sine positive. To get the answer in the second quadrant, you have to take pi minus the basic angle, which is the theta. Third quadrant is pi plus theta. Fourth quadrant is 2 pi minus theta. All right, then let's have a look for our equation here. Tangent theta equals to 3 over 2. Let us find out the basic angle first. To find out the basic angle, you are taking tangent inverse, then with the value of 3 over 2. Put it in the radian form, you should be getting 0.983. All right, then now I need to go through the quadrant and decide my theta. All right, we are having tangent positive. In first quadrant, is it tangent positive? Yes, right? So I want to accept the answer from this part. So to accept the answer from this part, it should be the basic angle, which is the theta. Therefore, my answer for first one is 0.983. Okay, in the second quadrant, is it tangent positive? We are looking for tangent positive here, right? This is not a tangent positive quadrant, so you just ignore the answer from this part. In the third quadrant, is it tangent positive? Yes. So how to get the answer for tangent positive in this third quadrant? You have to take pi plus the basic angle that you calculate just now. So take pi plus 0.983. Simplify your answer correct to 3 significant figure. By right, it should be 4.12. Then let's go to the last quadrant here. In the last quadrant, is it is it tangent positive? No, also. So I don't accept the answer from this part. So end up, what do we have here is we only have 2 answers out of the 4 quadrants. This is the final answer that we have for the data. Okay, so this is how we solve question number. Right, so we are now at question number 8. We are given a diagram, and then ABC is a semicircle. So you should know that this whole diagram here is a semicircle with the diameter AC. AC is a diameter. Center O and radius 6m. So the length of the arc AB is 15. We are given the length of the arc AB. That means from this point, okay, wait me a moment, for this point until this point, the length of the arc here is 15 cm. Okay, and then what else do we have? The point X lies on AC and the BX is perpendicular to AX. Right, so we are having a right angle triangle here. Hope that you can see it. They want us to find the perimeter of the shaded region BXC. Alright, so to find the shaded region perimeter, so let's have a look for our shaded region here. Basically, it consists of three different lengths. The first length is the length of BX. The second one, we are having the arc of BC. And after that, we are having the length of XC. So there are three lengths here that we need to figure out and add them together to get the perimeter, right? Okay, so how should we start? So first of all, we actually need to know what is the angle here, this angle. If we know this particular angle BOC, then basically we can use it to find out the length of the arc and also the length for the BX, okay? And how can I get the angle here? So I want to use the information given first. The length of the arc AB is 15. Right, so we start from this part. We are having the arc AB equals to 15. And what's the formula for an arc in the circle? So the general formula is r theta, right? So r theta equals to 15. What is the radius for this particular semicircle or this particular circle here? R is the radius 6. So you're having 6 theta equals to 15. And therefore your theta is 15 over 6. 15 over 6, what do we have? We are having 2.5. If we know that this big area here, so the big angle here is 2.5, then how about for the small angle here? So this small angle should be 180, which is the pi, minus the 2.5. Okay, all right. And now we can slowly figure out all the length that we want to find out here. All right, so first of all, let's have a look for this particular triangle. This triangle, right, is a right angle triangle. Therefore, I can use it to find out the length for BX. I want to form the triangle ratio that involves the BX here. Just take note that O is the center of the circle, right? So OB is actually the radius as well, which is the 6 cm. And from this triangle, I want to form one equation that involves the sine. All right, so if let's say I'm having sine angle, so our angle here is pi minus 2.5 equals to, what is the ratio for the sine? It will be BX, opposite length, divided by the hypotenuse. And our hypotenuse is BO, which is the 6 cm. From here, you can get the value for BX easily, which is equals to 6 sine pi minus 2.5. So I successfully get my length of BX here, and I will just keep it in this form first before I finalize it as a final answer. All right. Okay, so we successfully get the length for BX. And after that, I want to know also the length for OX. All right, so how can I get the length for OX? To get the length of OS, I want to use the ratio where I'm trying to use this. Okay, cos. Cos, the angle is equals to adjacent length, which is OX, divided by the hypotenuse length, which is the 6. From here, I know that my OX is equals to 6, then cos pi minus 2.5. And what is the purpose for me to figure out this OX here? Because I want to use it and find out the XC, the length for the XC. There's a small length here, right, XC? How can I get the length for XC? Basically, it is OC minus OX. What's the length for OC? It is the radius of the circle, which is 6. Then minus the OX is cos. 6 times cos, then pi minus 2.5. All right, so from here, there are three lengths here. I successfully found two of them. The first one is BX, the second one is XC, and now we are going for the third length, which is the BC. The BC is basically the length of an arc, right? And again, the general formula is r theta. Okay, so what's the r here? R again is a 6, and then theta will be what? Theta will be pi minus 2.5. All right, so I successfully get all the length for the three segment of the line here. And now to get the perimeter, I just need to add them together. So as a perimeter that I have here, it should be 6 sine pi minus 2.5. Okay, then plus the length for XC is 6 minus 6 cos pi minus 2.5. And after that, the length for BC, which is 6, multiplied with pi minus 2.5. Okay, then just try to press calculator. By right, you'll be getting a super long value here. And of course, I have to cut short my answer, correct to 3 significant figure, right? And by right, you should getting 8.63, correct to 3 significant figure for my final answer. All right, then just a small reminder here, when you are trying to press calculator, when getting all the value here, right? All these angle are basically measured in radian, not degree. Therefore, in your calculator, you must be putting it as a radian mode. Then it will be more convenient for you to press the calculator straight away and get the answer correctly. All right, so this is how we solve question number 9. All right, so we are having the equation of y in terms of x. Find the expression for dy dx and also d square y dx squared. Right, I think this is a straightforward question. Okay, to get the differentiation for a bracket with a power outside, the step is you pull the power in front, become the 3, copy the bracket, power minus 1 become 2. And after that, you have to differentiate the thing inside the bracket. Differentiate 3 minus 2x, you'll be getting negative 2. All right, then plus, copy the plus, differentiate the term 24x, differentiate x power 1, you get x power 0, right? Then you have the power move it in front, so you're having a 24. Then, of course, I prefer to rewrite it and rephrase it again in a nicer form, so I'll be having this as the dy dx. Okay, and after that, let's continue for the second derivative. The same thing applies here. Continue from the dy dx, we differentiate the term again. So we are having another bracket with a power there. Copy the constant negative 6. Okay, pull the power in front, become a 2 in front. Copy the bracket, power minus 1 become a 1. And now you differentiate the thing inside the bracket again. Differentiate 3 minus 2x, you are having negative 2. Right, then plus is a plus. Differentiate a constant term 24 and you'll get a 0. So I didn't write it out here. If you want, you can write it out. Right. Then from here, simplify my answer. I should be having 24 with 3 minus 2x. This is my d square y dx squared. Right, then let's proceed to part B. For part B, they want us to find the coordinate of each of the stationary point on the curve. Alright, to find the stationary point, every time you need to try and link it with the concept of this y dx equals to 0. And when you try to solve this equation, then basically you will be having the coordinate, x coordinate for the stationary points. Right, then for this question, they're asking for coordinates, yeah? Right, let's recall back. What is the dy dx that we get just now? So recall back from part A, the dy dx answer that we get just now is negative 6, then 3 minus 2x squared with a plus 24. I have to let dy dx equals to 0 when I'm having a stationary point, right? And we are going to solve this equation from here. We're getting 4. Then when you are trying to take the square root of both sides, you have 3 minus 2x equals to plus minus 2. And I'm going to solve it into these two parts here, plus and minus 2, right? Okay, so what is the value of x that I have here? 3 minus 2 is a 1. I'm having the half. Then x equals to negative 2 minus 3. Then it will be having 5 over 2. okay? And they are asking for coordinate. Therefore, the y coordinate must be included as well. How to get the y coordinate from here? Okay, so just to recall back again, your y equation is 3 minus 2x power 3 plus 24x, right? So how can you get the y coordinate? Substitute your x value into the y equation here and you get the y coordinate easily, right? Okay, I didn't show you the detail how to calculate it. So substitute half into the equation. By right, your y should be equal to 20 for this coordinate, and also your y should be equal to 52 for this. All right, so what is the stationary point here? The stationary point is basically half 20 and also 5 with 52. So these are the coordinate of the stationary point for this particular curve. Okay, then part C. For part C, they want us to determine the nature of each stationary point. Okay, then just help you to recall back a little bit also. When they are asking for the nature of the stationary point, you can try to use the second derivative to figure out whether is it a maximum point or minimum point. If let's say your d square y dx square is greater than 0, then it is a minimum point. If it is smaller than 0, then it will be a maximum point. All right, so same thing happened here. We need to recall back our d square y dx square equation first. What do we have for d square y dx square for the first part? We are having 24, then 3 minus 2x. And just now, we are having two stationary points, right? And we need to test it one by one. So let's have the first stationary point, x equals to half first. When you're having x equals to half, what is your d square y dx squared basically? Substitute the half into your equation. Then by right, your d square y dx squared is having a value of 48. Then if I try to compare it, it is actually greater than 0. When you are having d square y dx squared greater than 0, what is the particular stationary point? Basically, it is a minimum point. So you can just write out a conclusion here. Half and 20 is a minimum point. Right, and now let us continue further for the same part, okay, of the second point. Then at x equals to, the other point is 5 over 2. I want to know also what is my d square y dx squared from this point. I'm having 24, then 3 minus 2 with the power with the value of 5 over 2. Then you are getting a negative 48. Compare it, you are getting smaller than 0, right? And then what's the conclusion that you can make from here? It is basically a maximum point. That means this particular coordinate or this particular point is a maximum point. Yeah, so this is how we solve question 10. The coordinate of a point A and B are given as such. Then they want you to find the equation of a circle. There's a circle C where A and B is a diameter. All right, so if you can try to imagine it, if let's say you are having a circle where A and B are diameter of it, then basically what is your center of the circle? Center of the circle will be the midpoint of AB, right? Okay, so we need the midpoint of AB. And how about the radius? The radius will be the length from A to the center or B to the center. If not, then you can just take the length of AB, then divided by 2. I think this is quite straightforward as well, yeah? All right, so let's have a look for the first part first. Let us count the midpoint of the circle first. And the midpoint of the circle, the midpoint of AB will be the center of the circle. Right, so I find the midpoint. What's the formula for midpoint of between the 2 points here? So we are having x1 plus x2 divided by 2. then y1 plus y2 divided by 2 as well. And from here, you get the midpoint, 3 and also 1. Then you need to aware that this particular midpoint is actually the center of circle. Center of circle, wait, yeah. Center of circle. And after that, I want to get the radius. To get the radius of the circle, like what I told you just now, there are two ways here. The first one is find out the length between point A to the center, or point B to the center. But for me, try if I want to avoid some careless calculation, right? In case I get some careless answer in midpoint, then I still can avoid using the wrong answer. So what I do here is I try to calculate the radius by using the original AB point. How to get the distance between the AB? Right, so to get the distance, basically it's like this, x1 minus x2 squared plus then y1 minus y2 squared. So this is the length of the diameter and I need to divide it by 2 if I want to get the radius. Alright, then if you didn't do any careless mistake by right, you should be getting square root 36 plus square root 64. Then you get a 5. Okay, and now this is your radius. Then the equation of circle will be what? It should be x minus the x1, which is the center, x coordinate of the center of the circle, then y minus y1, which is the y coordinate of the center of the circle, that equals to r squared. So 5 squared. And this is how our equation of circle look like. Right, then let's continue to part B. For part B, find the equation of the tangent D to circle C at the point B. Okay, find the equation of the tangent T to the circle C at the point B. Okay, so let's have a look here. Let's say just now I'm having this circle and then point B is this one. All right, and then we want to find out the equation for this particular tangent at point B, right? And then we have a tangent here, the tangent line. Okay, so this is the tangent line, right? And this tangent line passed through the point B. Therefore, when I want to form any linear equation, I need two important information. The first one is the gradient of the line. Another one is the passing point. And then if I want to find out the equation for this red color line, I already have the passing point, which is the point B. Okay, it is the tangent at point B. So the passing point is the point B, no problem at all. And now, how can I get the gradient of this particular red color line? You need to know one extra property here. When I'm having a tangent, right, that touch a point on the circumference of the circle, then basically it is this particular line and also the line from center to the point that form the tangent, right? They are perpendicular to each other. So this is some extra information that you need to know. And if I have the coordinate for center and also the point B, I can get the gradient for OB. After I get the gradient for OB, no problem for me to find the gradient of tangent as well, right? Yeah, so this is what you need to figure out first, yeah, before you can form the equation of the tangent. All right, so first of all, I try to find out the gradient from center to B. Or you can label it as OB if you want. What's my center just now? So my center just now is 3, 1, right? What's my point B just now? The point B just now is basically 7, 4, is it? This is a point B, and this is the center. All right, after that, let us have a look for the gradient. How to find the gradient for these 2 points here? These 2 points, okay? So the general formula would be y1 minus y2. So I take 4 minus 1. divided by x1 minus x2. So I take 7 minus 3. And the gradient that I get here would be 3 over 4. Okay, then when I'm having the tangent of the gradient of tangent multiply with the gradient of center to be, it should be equals to -1. Because I know that these two particular lines, the green color and also the red color line, they are perpendicular to each other. Therefore, when you multiply the gradient together, it should be equals to 1. And from here, very easily, you can get the gradient of the tangent where it should be equals to -4 over 3. Right, so you're having the gradient done. Okay, and what's the passing point? Like what I told you just now, the passing point is basically the 7, 4, the point B. And you have the passing point, you have the gradient with you, therefore, now you can form the equation of the tangent. What should be your equation of tangent? You are taking y minus y1, which is the 4, equals to m, which is the gradient, then x minus x1, so x minus 7. All right, then you just try to rephrase everything nicely and simplify them. By right, you'll be having -4 over 3x plus 40 over 3. And this is what we have for part B. Right, then let's continue to part C. Now they want us to find the equation of the circle where the reflection of circle C in the line T. Okay, equation of the circle. I have another circle, but it is actually the reflection of the circle C in the line T. Okay, so let us go and have a look again. What is the line T? What does the line T mean? So the line T is basically your tangent line, right? I try to shift this one to the next part. Okay, so let's shift it. So this is my original circle, right? And then this is the line T, right? And then they're asking us to find out the equation of the circle where it is the reflection of circle C in the line T. That means line T is now your mirror. Line T is your mirror. You want to reflect this one through the line T. And how should you draw the diagram? So your circle might look something like this. I might not be able to draw a very nice reflection, but basically I just want to let you know that after reflection, your circle might look something like this. And they're asking for the equation for this reflection circle, right? Okay, so if you want to know about the reflection circle here, again, you will see that the radius are the same. Radius is the same because of the size of the circle should be the same, right, after the reflection. And from here, we can see that the center of the circle is different. How can we find the center of the circle? Right, need to think a little bit more. Since we are talking about reflection, right? So that means the line here, the red color line here is a mirror, which means that you'll be having a line which is also 90 degrees, but it is on the opposite side of the T. And this particular angle, the point here will be the new center of the circle. And then there will be a straight line because all the angle here are 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees. This is also 90 degrees. It should be in the straight line. And from here, I hope that you can see that the point B, do you still remember the point B just now on the circumference of the circle? The point B now basically is the center between the center of the two circles. It's the midpoint. It's the midpoint between the center of the two circles. So I hope that you can see this clearly. All right. So let us recall back again. I'm having the coordinate for center 1, the earlier one, the center one, which is 3, 1. Okay, then for point B, the coordinate is 7 and 4. And now I'm looking for the value of the coordinate for center 2. I don't know what is the coordinate for the center 2. If I know the center with the radius just now, then I can form the equation for the second circle, right? Yeah, so let's have a look for the center 2. How can I find the center 2 here? So like what I told you just now, point B now is the midpoint between the two centers. All right, okay? And I'm using this info and start our calculation now. Right, I will just write it out again. So B is the midpoint of two center of the circle, the two center of the circle. Right, so what's the coordinate for B? 7, 4. How to find the midpoint for the two center? So you're having center number 1 plus x for center number 2 divided by 2. Then y for center number 1 plus y center number 2 divided by 2. And from here, you try to solve x with the x coordinate and also y with the y coordinate. We know that 3 plus x over 2, right? It should be equals to 7. So from here, what is your x? Your x will be equals to 11. Same thing happen, compare the y coordinate with the y coordinate, it is equals to 4. And what's the value for the y that we get here? It will be 7. All right, so from here, you can see very easily that you have the center of the second circle. You know that the radius is the same as the first circle, which is 5 units. Therefore, to form the equation, so equation of the second circle, what will it be? It should be x minus the new x coordinate for the center, y minus the y coordinate for the center, and equals to 5 squared. If you want to write out 25, also can, no problem. Yeah, so this is how we answer question. Right, so question 11, which is the last question for this paper. We are having a diagram, right? And they give us two equations here. We are having a curve. So I think you should know that the curve belongs to this particular curve here, right? And then you're having a linear line, 2y plus x equals 8, intersecting at point A and B. Then point C lies on the curve, and also the tangent to the curve at C is parallel to AB. Find by calculation the coordinate for A, B, and C first. All right, so let's have a look for point A, point B, and also point C. How can we find out the point A, B, and C? Maybe we can find out point A and B first. To me, I think it is more straightforward. Right, point A and point B, you can see that A and B, A actually lies on the, how to say, the y coordinate, y axis, right? On the y axis. Okay, when there's any point on the y-axis, then basically you should know that x is equals to 0. And the point A also belongs to both curve and also the line. Therefore, to get the point A, it should be very, very easy. I'm using the straight line equation, 2y plus x equals to 8. And since I know that x is equals to 0, when the A cuts the y-axis, right? Then from here, you can get your y coordinate very easily, which is 8 divided by 2. It will be a 4. So your A is actually 0 and 4. Okay, after that, done with the A, now let's have a look for the B. And B is quite obvious, where it is actually the intersection point between the curve and also the line. Therefore, to get any intersection point between curve or line whatsoever, you have to solve the equation simultaneously. All right, so let us have a look here. I'm having, I try to make it in this way, yeah. Wait me for a while. How can I rephrase it in the easier way? Okay, never mind. I will just try to move it like this. X is basically equals to 8 minus 2y from the first equation, from the line equation. Then for the curve equation, I'm having y equals to 8 over x plus 2. Okay, and to solve for the intersection point, I want to solve the equation simultaneously. So what am I doing here is I sub equation number 1 into the equation number 2. And let's see what do we get. Sub 1 into 2, I will be having this. X plus 8 minus 2y. Sorry, what am I doing here? Okay, so 8 divided by x plus 2, right? So the x basically will be 8 minus 2y, then plus 2. X, this whole thing is the x. X is 8 minus 2y, so this whole thing is the x, then plus 2. Okay, then after that, I want to get rid of the denominator. I need to move it up to the right left-hand side. So I will be having 10 minus 2y equals to 8. And I basically will get a quadratic equation. Okay, then I can factorize them. And from here, what do I get? I'll be getting y equals to 1 and also y equals to 4. And I'll be taking the value of y equals to 1 and continue for the calculation. And do you know why I ignore the y equals to 4 in this case? Because y equals to 4 basically is the y coordinate for the A. So that means this is point A. All right. And point A coordinate, I already get it just now, so I don't want to bother it anymore. This is actually the point A. And now I'm interested for point B, right? Therefore, for point B, what I do is I substitute 1 into either of the equation, right? Then I will be having x equals to 8 minus 2 times 1. So my x is what? My x is 6. And from here, you can get a coordinate for the B, where it should be 6 and also 1. Right. This is what you have for point B. And if you aware, right, some students might aware that, hey, just now when I try to solve the equation, I successfully get the both y coordinate for A and B. So can I like straight away use this same method here to get the both point A and B? Actually, you can, right? So you can skip this part if you want, then directly substitute the equation into the other one and solve them simultaneously, get the two coordinate directly for the 2 point directly, right? Because you can see from here that A is also the intersection point between the line and also the, okay? Right, so now with point A and point B, and let's have a look for point C. How can I get a point C here? They give us some extra information here where the point C lies on the curve and tangent to the curve at point C is parallel to AB. If I try to draw a tangent line, okay, let's say this is a tangent line that pass through the point C, and they are telling us that this line and also the gradient of AB are the same. Which means that I try to find out the gradient of the tangent and I equate it with the gradient of AB. Then from there, I can get the coordinate of the C. Right? Okay, how to get the gradient of tangent here? Okay, so I will need another new page to start the calculation. Oh, no need. Wait, maybe I put it at the bottom. Okay. What should I do? Oh, maybe I put it at the side, then you can see it easier. Right, and now I want to get the gradient of tangent first, the equation of gradient of tangent. So y equals to 8, then x plus 2, power negative 1. So first of all, let us find out the gradient of the tangent, where it should be dy over dx. 8 is a constant, you just try to copy it. Power of the bracket, you put in front, copy the bracket, then power minus 1 become negative 2. Differentiate the thing inside the bracket, you get 1. So you multiply with a 1 here. Simplify them, you'll be having negative 8 over x plus 2 squared. Okay, so just to remind you that when you are trying to figure out the dy dx, this is the gradient of tangent. Okay, and what's the gradient for AB? I want to know the gradient of AB now. To get the gradient of AB, you directly use the coordinate that you find out just now, right? So just recall back A, you get 0, 4. Just to recall back, the coordinate for the B basically is what? Is 6 and 1. To find the gradient between A and B, you can use the formula y1 minus y2. So I use 4 minus 1 divided by x1 minus x2. So I use 0 minus 6. And you get what value for gradient of AB? It should be negative half. Okay, all right. And in this question, since they tell you that tangent to the curve at C parallel to AB, so this one means that the gradient of the tangent should be equals to the gradient of AB when the lines are parallel. So I hope that you still remember this property, yeah? Okay. All right. So I should continue from here. I let the gradient of C, which is negative 8 over x plus 2 square, equate it with negative r, equate it with the gradient of AB. Then of course, I want to simplify them. I'm having x plus 2 equals to plus minus 4, if I'm not mistaken. 8 times 2 is 16, right? Okay, maybe I put it in more detail. I'm having x plus 2 square equals to positive 16. X plus 2 equals to plus minus 4. Square root 16, you get a 4. Then x will be having two values here. Positive 4 minus 2, you get a 2. Negative 4 minus 2, you get negative 6. And by right, we should ignore the value of x equals to negative 6. Do you know why? Again, because all this value of the x here refer to the coordinate of the C, right? And C, very obvious in the diagram provided here, it is on the right-hand side of the y-axis, which is x coordinate should be a positive value. X negative 6 will give you a point on this side. Okay, which is not correct, because my point is here, right? It should be having a positive value of x. Therefore, it should be x equals to 2. And how to get the value for the y again? Substitute it into the curve equation. Only curve equation, yeah, because C lies on the curve, not on the line. All right, not on the linear line. Therefore, y equals to 8 over 2 plus 2. And from here, you get a 4. 8 divided by 4, you get 2. Okay, therefore, C is having the coordinate 2, 2. All right, yeah. And this is how we solve the 11 part A. Find out the coordinate for A, B, and also the C. And let's continue to part B. Okay, now they want you to find the volume generated, highlight the keyword volume, bounded, the shaded area bounded by curve, the line, and rotate through 360 degrees about the x-axis. So x-axis means that you are going to use the integration to find the volume, right? And the integration must be using dx. So you should be having pi y squared dx as a general formula here. Okay, so I think we need to set up the question here first. Pi y squared dx. How can I set up the question? Okay, if you have a look for our area here, it is actually bounded by two, I would say two curves or two functions. The first one is the linear line, top. Okay, then what we need to do is, if we want to find the volume, first of all, we need to find the volume that is formed by this straight line equation first. After that, I have to minus the volume formed by the curve below. Okay, so that means I'm having the red color volume minus the blue color volume to get the shaded color volume that I want to find. Yeah, all right. But the general formula are all the same, where it should be pi y squared dx. But now, because like what I told you, we are having two curves here, right? The area is covered by the line and also the curve. Therefore, our detailed step will be, I'm having pi y squared, the first y, minus the lower y. Because we're having the two, the line and also the curve. Line and also the curve. Okay, then the area is covered by the two line. So I have to use the red color area, red color volume. This is the red color volume minus the blue color volume. Okay, then if I try to set up a question, what is the y1 I have to put in here, yeah? So your line equation here, how to get the y? So move everything over 8 minus x divided by 2. This is your y, and then you have to square it. Then how about the curve, the y in the curve? Then your y is having this equation, so you should be having 8 over x plus 2 squared. All right, then from where until where is your limit? Okay, so you have to see your volume start at this point, right? Where x is equals to 0. Your volume end at this point where it is the x coordinate of the b, which is the 6. Therefore, your limit for integration should be from 0 until 6. Okay, yeah. So this is the proper way for us to set up the question here. Okay, so let us apply the integration in part B. Right? Okay, so let me have a shift it up. Let us shift the answer to the next part, to the next page. Okay, so like what I told you just now, we should be having pi. For me personally, I prefer to take out the pi. It is a constant term, so I prefer to take it out before I integrate it. Right, and I'm having 0 here until the 6, then pi. This is the y, x minus, 8 minus x over 2, then squared. Okay, then after that, I have to minus also the pi. Then what do I have here? Still limit from 0 until 6, and I'm having 8 over x plus 2 squared. So like what I showed you in the diagram just now, right? We are having a red color area or red color volume minus the blue color volume. So this is what we have. Okay, then let's continue from here. When you try to integrate it, 8 minus x squared, I just keep it inside the integration part. Then 2, the square have to put it into the 2 as well, right? So you're having a 2 square here. For me, the 2 square basically is a constant term as well. So I would also prefer to take it out. So I'm having pi over 4. And I want to integrate this particular bracket. Right? Yeah. Same thing happened for this part. For me, right? If I try to apply the square inside the fraction, I'll be having 8 square, which is 64. And it is a constant term. I prefer to take out the constant term 64. Then 8 minus 2, if I want to square the whole bracket and bring it out, I'll be having x plus 2 power negative 2. Okay, and after I simplify everything nicely, then only I start the integration. Okay, let's integrate it. Integrate this particular bracket, copy the bracket, power plus 1 become a 3 divided by the new power. Differentiate the thing inside the bracket, you're having a negative 1. So you have to divide it by negative 1 as well. Later, you have to substitute the value, the limit 6 and 0. Then same thing happen here. Copy the bracket, power plus 1 become negative 1 divided by the new power negative 1. Differentiate x plus 2, you'll be having the 1 here. And after that, you're having 6 and 0 as well. Again, my personal habit is I always prefer to take out the constant before I substitute any value. If I take out negative 3 outside, then I will have negative pi over 2 outside. Okay? Substitute 6 inside. So 8 minus 6, you are having a 2 power 3. Substitute 0 inside, you'll be having 8 minus 0, which is 8 power 3. Okay, then 64. Take out the 1, the negative 1 outside, you'll be having a positive 64 pi. And now, substitute the 6 inside. 6 plus 2 is the 8, right? So you're having 1 over 8. Then minus, substitute 0 inside, you will be having half. Okay? Then after that, just further simplify all the particular term here. All right, we'll be having for the 2 pi minus 24 pi. And eventually, the answer that you get should be 18 pi. This is the volume of the diagram that we have. All right, then if you try to read the question, they didn't mention that the volume must be exact volume. Therefore, it is not wrong that you change your answer correct to 3 significant figure as well. All right, yeah, so this is the end of the video. And thank you very much for watching.